Welcome back to another video on Gearsaw Studios, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a gas station, or a petrol station if you're British, but still, if you're ever out of gas, you can get some at the gas station, regardless of whether it might be, $3 a gallon or your entire life savings. Before I begin, remember, please like and subscribe, and without further ado, onto the tutorial. So, exiting this whole car prop, this took way too long to make, we have our palette. We're going to be using red, white, and gray concrete, along with sea lanterns or ultra frog lights, depending on availability. I recommend using frog lights, but if you're having accessibility issues, then use sea lanterns, because I'd assume the latter is easier to get. Then, azaleas for the exterior, although you can definitely use any other kind of leaf. And then, cyan terracotta, white concrete, and black stone for the walls. We also want to include some road. You can use gray concrete on the roads, but black does look better. Then, if you have a pre-existing road network, connect the gas station to that. Otherwise, just build it wherever you plan to have more. Now, once you've finished scouting your location, you want to put down some roads if you don't already have them. Of course, this part is kind of optional. If you don't want to do it, you can skip out on it, but it would mess with the theming. You just put some yellow lines on the road, maybe 3 blocks, and then having 2 block section in between. Make it about 7 blocks wide, depending on how you styled your cars. And then, on either side, smooth stone slabs to be the sidewalk. A little bit higher, so that way you can curb your tires and, ruin it and waste $900, but still, have your road going across like this. Once you have the part where you want the pumps to be, then remove the sidewalk. Now, we got a road going by. The parts where cars are meant to enter has been denoted by some crosswalk, just alternating black and white concrete. And, of course, we have some cars, the same one I used in the beginning. And, for one, they do not have proper interiors. We can see it's just room for me to stand so I can make a weird intro involving gas prices. Either way, populate the road if you want, and then you want to make a nice area of just your concrete. Whether it's been light gray, gray, or black, you just want to have a nice base plate of concrete. And on some parts, you want to make an area for a gas pump. So you should denote areas for at least 6 of them, although you can go less. We got the black space area, and we can see I made some squares for gas pumps. We can have those later. Make sure that there's areas that would fit a car in between, weaving in and out. And on one end, make some parking spots. Just use white concrete to divide them. Then, the place where you have the parking spots should house the actual building. If you have a lot of parking spots, you might want to add a little sign, maybe just a couple blocks up, and maybe some handicap signs, because, make it a bit more realistic. Either way, our next step would be going up. And what we want to do is stack some blocks, and then once we get to a desired height, go out a little, and we want to make that design you often see on gas stations, where we have the protruding part on top, and it just wraps around. So have this thing wrap around, make sure all 4 corners are supported, and the parking spots should be uncovered, and this should not connect to the building itself. Now, we have the ceiling part. I actually didn't do 4 corners, so ignore my past clip, because you can make a more realistic version by having the gas pumps themselves have the pillars. Now, in between each of the pillars, you can add lights, or you can just add lights regardless if you do the corner method. And then you want to build the actual pumps themselves. And there's many different designs, but they should have a clock at some point, and a tripwire hook to be the actual nozzle. Otherwise, have fun and experiment with many different designs. Now we have some pumps in place. If you made the ground out of gray concrete rather than black, then possibly add a little bit of black around each pump, as if someone spilled some gas on the floor. And our next step is building our main building. It's not really large, it's not anything special. In fact, it's okay if it's a little bland. In fact, most gas stations that aren't like really high quality typically have relatively bland buildings. So, no shame in doing something a little less spectacular. Just make sure you have 2 blocks away from each sidewalk, and you elevate it by 1 block, so that way you take half a block step into the building rather than going down again. Got a basic building here, and we do want to make a couple of changes. First off, make sure that your roof is 2 blocks thick, or else the lights will be appearing through the top. Then, what you want to do from here is use whatever design you had for the roof of the actual pumps, and then use it on this. Instead of this blackstone design, unless you're going for a less popular or just poorer one in general, I recommend making it fancier, which means using whatever design. Make sure you have areas that you can place down azalea bushes in, but of course when I mean bushes I mean leaves, because the actual bushes are too short. But still, add leaves here, alternate between normal and flowering, not in a checkerboard pattern though, and then you'll be set. We got some bushes, a little bit of the red topping, and we can see this building's looking much higher quality this way. Although you can still go for the mildly run down look, still, to keep it consistent, we're going to be using this. Now, on the inside, we want to add the lighting we had over here. That's the simple part, and the other simple part is adding some shelves. And the best block for that, polished diorite. Use the stairs, and look like those generic white racks you see all over the place. And a couple rows of those, a counter made out of the same blocks, maybe even a barrel hidden under it, and you got a gas station. Some windows have been added. We got the lighting in there. I chose sea lanterns over frog lights. I'm gonna be honest, if you're doing a more upkept model, then I'd actually go for sea lanterns. And not really much else to say. There's only one addition left, and that is a dumpster behind it. Yeah, minorly unnecessary, but still, it sells the look. Now, we have a very basic dumpster, but we can't really go too much more than that, so we leave it at that, and now our build is done. It's looking pretty nice. We got several cars going by, just as a model demonstration. We got the gas pumps. You could definitely turn these into Among Us if you're, into that. And we got the nozzles. This thing is looking pretty nice, looks pretty modern, almost like a racetrack gas station. And still, it's quite expandable. You can add the small things like vending machines, which I couldn't find a slot for, or some parked cars. Whatever you want, you can try adding it, and it will probably go pretty well. With that, it's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, remember, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Either way, enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure not to waste all of your money on gas. Gearsaw out.